So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Who Talks First. It's been a while.
Yes,
I am CT.
You are sick, CT. And
I am very sick.
And I'm solo.
So today's episode, we're not going to do anything super breakdowny from Celebration. This week we're actually going to do 5 new podcasts for you, one every day this week. I wanted to promise this, but...
your voice, you're going to have to deliver it. Even if you're rasping, we're going to give it to you.
So today we're going to take it easy and just talk about our experience at Celebration in general. We're going to do breakdowns of the trailer, of the poster, of the other new announcements at Celebration, of Galactic Nights, all later this week. Mm-hmm. But today is just our road to Celebration.
Our road.
And which ends with me getting very sick, and I'm still
Spoiler!
Sick.
Oh, you
gave away the end. To the rest of the podcast.
They're like, oh, now we know.
Courtney got sick. The end.
That's the only thing that you should take away from this.
No. But Celebration was absolutely fantastic. Star Wars Celebration 2017 took place in Orlando, Florida.
Woo!
Which, ideal location for me, because it's right by Disney World, and I stayed the following week to party up in Disney World.
You were gone forever, and I was so alone.
I was gone for so long, and I actually stayed the week to do the Dark Side half marathon, but spoiler alert, I got sick and couldn't do it. So spent all that money, but don't worry, I got the merch, kids, so I can pretend like I ran the race.
Most of the merch.
Yeah, besides the medal. I didn't get the medal. But it was just a Death Trooper anyway. I wasn't going to get the Kylo one.
Oh.
It was the Death Trooper was really cool, though.
Yeah, I saw pictures of it. I looked it up.
But anyway, I left a day before you did.
You did.
And my Celebration experience began with on fire.
Highs.
On fire.
All highs.
So
you took all my good travel karma.
I did.
And I hate you.
I took it, I was so thankful. So I get to the airport, so far so good, and I walk in, and I see this dog. I didn't even think that it was Gary Fisher. I just looked at this dog, being like, oh, that's cute. He looks like Gary, but I didn't see his tongue hanging out, and that's how you would know if it was Gary. And so we're kind of sitting waiting for our plane, and then I see there was a cosplayer on our flight that I knew, and she went up and took a picture with this dog. And I kind of was like, wait, is that actually Gary Fisher? And so I ran over there, and sure enough, it was actually
He turned
Gary
his little
Fisher.
head, and he was like, what?
And he had his tongue sticking out, and I leaned down, and he, came up and ran and, kissed my camera.
Oh.
And I'm not sure if it was... Because I've seen Gary once before, also at an airport. And Gary was with Carrie the first time I saw him, and then I supposed there was another woman with Carrie, and it was the same woman that was with him the second time. I'm not sure if it was her assistant or something. It wasn't Billy, even though Billy was at Celebration. But I asked this woman if I could take a picture with Gary, and she was like, yeah, it's cool. But it was so cute because they made the joke that Gary loves the ladies. Because anytime, a girl would pass, he would just be like, ooh, and, run up to them and be like, hey there.
Hey, look at me. Look at my tongue.
Look at me. And so it was really cute when I, walked by, and that's when he, turned and was like, hey there. And, I'm just going to assume she's one of Carrie's assistants or something, was like, oh, you just calm down, Gary. We know there's girls everywhere. It was really cute. And so, that's already, the highlight.
Right. And then it gets better from there. It gets
better from here.
Yep.
So I get on the airplane, and I am sitting very close to, I'm the row behind first class, because I like being really close to being the first person on the airplane, first person off the airplane. So I'm the row behind first class. When I get a text from my friend Alex saying, Hayden's on our flight. And I'm like, are you bullshitting me? Are you bullshitting me right now? Because I'm going to flip out. I'm not okay. And he's like, I didn't see him, but a friend of mine who's also on this flight said that Hayden's on this flight. And so I'm looking out the entire time. I don't see Hayden get on the plane, but clearly he's in first class, so he's already on the plane.
Right.
And I'm looking above me, and I see, like, one head that's slightly taller than all the other ones.
You sent me a picture of the back of the head, and you were like, I think this might be him.
This might be Hayden. And, so we get on, so the flight, dying. So we take off, and the whole time, I'm, like, up, down, diving around, waiting for him to turn around, and he turned, like, once a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I can't totally tell if this is Hayden or not, and I knew it was going to bug me for the rest of the flight. So, I mean, you guys are going to learn what, like, super creep I am.
Was it time to go to the bathroom?
It was time to go to the bathroom, but 100% everyone on that flight knew exactly what I was doing, because I waited until the snack cart came by and was blocking the back bathroom.
So you're like, oh no, I guess
I have to go to the first class bathroom to go see. And so I just walked up there, did like the double take, confirmation it was indeed Hayden, ran into the bathroom, just stood there for like 2 minutes, came back,
stared at him again,
and walked back to my seat. And the funny part was, so I went and sat down, and the man that was sitting next to me goes, "You went to go see Hayden, didn't you?" And I'm like, yeah.
Were you wearing Star Wars stuff at this time?
I was wearing my Star Wars Celebration shirt, which actually has his face on it. And so I went to sit back down, and I was confronted that I went up there to see Hayden, and he was like, and then he tells me that originally, because they had a child with them, that Hayden was actually sitting directly in front of us. Mm-hmm. Like he was in that seat. But they had moved him, and what I assume, they moved him away because he was sitting next to 2 other babies.
You can't have Anakin near the younglings.
You can't! But, like, I assume they're like, oh, we don't want him next to 2 children. 2 children during the flight.
He's a B-list celebrity? I'm not going to say A-list.
Yeah, he's somewhere on there.
He's somewhere. I would call him an A-list, but
A-list to me.
I'm sure other people would disagree.
But, so... Like, if I had gotten on that plane earlier, he would have been sitting directly in front of me for at least a little bit. I wouldn't have been that bad.
No, I know.
And then Steve Bloom was also on our flight, and I've actually met Steve Bloom before. Mm-hmm. And it was just such a fun way to start off Celebration. And we got off the plane in Orlando, and he was mobbed like Hayden was. And I kind of chased him a little bit. I didn't actually catch up to him. Uh-huh. I just wanted, like...
a picture of his back.
And I got it. But now everyone knows what a Mondo creep I am. Sorry, Hayden. I know you listen to the podcast.
Hey, Hayden! So,
what's up?
It was good to see you on the flight. Yeah. I wasn't there, but it was good to see you.
But such an aces way to start off. And so we'll just tell it in linear fashion.
Yeah, so you get off your plane.
Get off the plane, go straight to the con, and then get in line for the 40th anniversary panel. And I've never camped out for a panel before. I get there expecting there to be maybe 200 people in line at the most. Boy, was I wrong. There had apparently been people camped out the day prior. Like,
oh my god.
The day prior, before they...
Tuesday?
Yeah, like, before anyone was even let into the building.
Oh my god.
Which, this is something they seriously need to work out.
Yeah.
And...
They need to do what D23 does.
And... like, I don't know how they're going to do it, especially because Star Wars has such a hype fandom and such a dedicated fandom. I don't know how they're going to do it. But camping out for panels has gone from being, like, this thing only a few dedicated people do to being expected. And that's...
not fair.
That's not fair, and it's not safe either. Mm-mm. And especially because they closed off the line at midnight and reopened it at 5 a.m., everyone who was going to that panel was in line by midnight.
Right.
So at that point, they should have just gave people their wristbands.
But instead...
they screwed up hardcore.
Gave people who had just shown up badges, started fist fights.
People got kicked out, which... I mean...
I can't blame people if they've been lined up since Tuesday.
Yeah, and I hope everyone who had lined up since Tuesday got in. But I know people who had definitely been camped out for over 12 hours did not get in.
Right.
And
that's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. And there's just nothing you can do about it. especially after you realize the mistake you made. You can't be like, if you weren't, like, no one's gonna come and hand you their wristband after.
If you just showed up, please give your wristband back. They're gonna be like, nope, I was here the whole night. Yep. Even though they look freshly showered and fine.
Like, and I hear, hot mess, was not sick yet. I didn't sleep at all because they had a DJ come out at 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, the DJ, I think, would have been a fine idea from maybe, like, either earlier in the night, like 10 p.m. to midnight.
Right.
Or when you need to get everyone back up in the morning. So I think they started handing out wristbands at either 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So start playing at, like, 5, maybe, to get people
hyped
up again.
Maybe 4:30, just so people start stirring.
Yeah, but with, like, the friends I was with, like, most of them had already been sleeping. I didn't sleep at all, but when the music started, all of them zombied up and were like,
what the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
Yeah. That would,
It was...
I would have been so cranky.
Yeah.
Because once I fall asleep, do not wake me back up. If I've fallen asleep on a hard concrete floor and I'm somehow sleeping, and you wake me up, dark side.
So many people were so upset about it. I mean, it was kind of fun. And then people started getting up and dancing. And there was a person dressed like Deadpool, because memes. And
because you have to have Deadpool at literally every convention.
He wasn't even like a Deadpool Jedi. I was like, at least be a Deadpool Jedi.
Nope.
There were so many people already in costume in that line. So impressive. But I got my wristband. I got into the actual physical panel.
Around this time, I am in the airport. I'm in the airport, and I'm waiting to board my first flight. So I've got the stream up, and I'm not able to watch the full panel. So we'll cut back to you in a second. But once I get off my first plane, everything's going pretty smooth. Got to the airport totally on time. Got my bag checked like no problem. Made it through security in like 5 minutes. Like I'm like, this is fine. I get like some breakfast in the airport. It's a little overpriced, but whatever. I get off my first flight and I go, I never checked my badges. I never packed my badges. Ever. Didn't. Then I start having a panic attack. Because I'm like, what the am I going to do?
Yeah.
So we'll go back to your panel, because by this time, the live stream is way over. Way past over.
Actually, because I had re-left the line, after I got my wristband, Matt and I went to go check into our hotel. And then we're like, okay, well, we'll go back into the convention center. We checked in. We were in line to get into the convention center for 2 more hours.
Oh my god.
And it turns out if you had a wristband, they would have just let you in and nobody told us. Like, that they should have had a cat, because that line went for 2 miles.
They should have had someone by the door being like, if you have a wristband, please come through. If you have it, just keep repeating
because
that.
we were freaking out. I'm like, did we just spend all that time in line to not be able to get into this panel? And luckily, we made it by, like, the skin of our teeth.
Right.
And our friends who hadn't left the line saved us seats when we walked in.
Right.
Because, I mean, we literally just went to check into, because we came straight from the airport and we had our bags.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to just dump our stuff off and come right back. And
you wanted to check into the hotel that you'd paid money for.
Yep. And, like, drop off our bags so we didn't have to take all of that into the panel room. And we came back in, and there's a line for 2 miles, took 2 hours to get through. And, again, we made it, so I'm not even going to dwell on that. If I hadn't made it, I would have been very upset.
Yeah.
But we made it in, and the 40th panel was beautiful. Like, such a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Harrison Ford came out on stage, which, again, that was the biggest shock. We're all thinking that, well, so there's the part where Hayden and the Emperor and Ian McDiarmid are on stage, and they bring up Ewan. And
jerks!
The entire, like, row of people hold on to each other. And
me in the airport, I'm like,
I'm like, here he is! He's gonna... Because I mean, if you watched our, like, Celebration Predictions podcast, we were pretty sure they were going to announce the Kenobi movie.
Yeah.
Which, that's my one...
We were confident.
Surprise of the con, to be honest. That they didn't announce it. I'm guessing...
My one biggest disappointment.
I'm guessing that it's happening at D23. Because at this point, I'm so utterly convinced that's their third anthology movie.
Everybody was talking about it the entire convention. I'd just be standing in line for something and someone would be talking about it.
Yeah, it was a big kind of surprise that they didn't announce it. I mean, obviously, it didn't make the con a letdown at all because it was still amazing, but it was just a kind of a surprise. I mean, George Lucas showing up was great, and what a great man.
What an interesting man.
Oh, I love him. And there were so many just great moments. And what I loved most about these panels and these panel rooms is how much people were like, you know what? We've all come to terms with
certain things not being as good.
Yeah. And we love them for what they are. And George is like, you guys have to take a step back. I know it's hard to admit it, but I made these movies for 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And he did. And again, this is coming from two people who love the prequels. I saw this like meme where it's like the evolution of how you think about the prequels. And it's like the prequels suck. And 2, you're like, I don't like the prequels, but at least I understand that they're made for kids. And the third one is, well, they didn't have the best execution, but the plot behind it is genius.
Yes.
And the last one is just like, now this is pod racing.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's the thought process.
Yep.
So it was just so great being in a room of people who were so supportive. And again, I was almost nervous for Hayden.
I was nervous for Hayden too, and I think Hayden was nervous too. He seemed really nervous up on stage.
Yeah.
Like, really nervous. And I was like, oh my god, Hayden, baby! But they're cheering for you!
People are screaming for George. People are screaming for Hayden. People have really come around on the whole thing. And obviously, you can dislike the prequels or whatever. But I think everyone in that room was just so enthusiastic about Star Wars as a whole, as a story, as a completed story, as a world.
Yeah.
That they were so excited about everything. And it was just amazing. And they had a beautiful tribute to Carrie Fisher, which, not a dry eye.
Oh, no.
Oh my, I'm gonna cry just talking about it. And then they ended it, now this is where I'm actually gonna cry.
I know, I'm tearing up, and I wasn't even there.
You know, where, where John Williams real John Williams came out.
In the flesh.
Came out with a full orchestra and did Leia's theme.
Yeah.
And, oh, whoa. Whew. It's okay. I'm just sick, guys. These are
I'm sick tears. Mine, I have no excuse. Mine are just
allergies,
tears.
Guys. It's fine. But they told a story later on talking about how no one knew John Williams was actually going to be there. And, like, Harrison and Mark and stuff were walking off stage. And they were, like, leaving. And I think it was Warwick Davis who was like, guys, John Williams is playing. And they're like, yeah, it's like they have the soundtrack playing while everyone leaves. They're like, no, this is really John Williams conducting. They're like, what? I've gotten to see John Williams one other time in concert. And getting to see him again under these circumstances.
Right.
Where
complete surprise.
Mark Hamill, George Lucas, Hayden, Harrison Ford,
literally
Billy D, everyone Anthony Daniels,
pretty much.
Chewbacca. And I'm like, Peter Mayhew. I won't just call him
Chewbacca.
Call him,
yeah.
But, oh my god, it was absolutely fan-flipping-tastic. And so we'll cut back to you, because this is where you're about to actually show up at Celebration.
Well, I mean, I'm still definitely, I've landed in wherever my layover is, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Without
all your badges.
With no badges. So I message our friend Alex, who I already know is there, because I know that the panel is over, so I'm like, they're probably gonna be walking around, and I was just like, I had messaged Alex, Chris, Victoria, and I think I definitely told you.
You told me. You didn't message me about, like, doing anything, though?
I just, like, I sent out, like, SOSs, like, if you guys run across staff, ask them what you can do to replace badges. So then Chris goes into, like, full action mode, and he's like, I guess he's just, like, I don't hear anything from him, but then I get a big message from him later on and being like, okay, I went and talked to them, here's the thing, do you have access to the badges? And I was like, no, because you are already at Celebration, and you and me live together, and that's it. And our apartment is locked. You need a key to get into the building and a key to get into our apartment. And, like, it's pretty heavy. our security. And I'm like, no, there's no way. I didn't leave my keys with anybody, because why in the world would I leave my keys with anybody? He's like, the only way that they'll let you replace them is if you prove that they aren't in use. And I was like, but lost badges, though. I lost badges. How can you say that your only thing that you can do is... I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, I definitely...
I get it, because people are shitty.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't punish everybody because some people are shitty. But, yeah, I mean, I got everything resolved eventually, but I'm having panic attacks because I'm like, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to get in. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Well, and especially, like, with a con like this, you really expect them to be on top of checking badges.
I absolutely did. Because I've been to anime conventions that are more, like, strenuous on their badges, like Otakon, where you can't even get into, like, the hotels and shit without a badge.
We were just at WonderCon, where you had to scan in 4 times before you like, scan your badge 4 times before you could get into the dealer's hall. It was insanity.
WonderCon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Star Wars was just like, whatever.
Which then, good jobs.
I mean...
Well, I don't want to say good job, because people should get badges, but, like,
yes.
I
mean, I guess...
Thanks for trusting your guests?
I guess so, but you trust your guests, and then I'm like, well, I lost my badge, or I left it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you an honest story. It's in California. I'm on my way here. What am I going to do? And they're like, well, we can let you rebuy things at full prices except for Saturday. And you're like, that's not helping me. I have my receipt. I have my confirmation number. I have all this stuff. They're like, yeah, but you could have just gave that to somebody. You're like, I could have, but why would I?
I'm not a bad person, I swear.
I'm having a panic attack. Got everything resolved. Got my badges.
You got on Thursday night, right? Yeah, you got on Thursday night.
So Thursday night at like 8 I landed, and we just went to dinner, right? Yeah, we just met up, went for dinner.
And that's... And that's that. So then we get to Friday, which is Last Jedi panel, which I also got to go to.
You did.
I'm 1,000% grateful to be in that panel, but 1,000% of it is because I got that poster. Yep. Like, shout out to our friend Chris, who doesn't even listen to this, but for being, like...
Our saviors.
Our saviors that the entire weekend. I mean, he was just absolutely so helpful with so many of, like, the issues that we had.
Where I'm like, I'm having trouble, what do I do? He's like, I'm on it.
I'm on it, I got this. So, the Last Jedi panel, it was absurd. And Rian Johnson came at night, and he signed everybody's badges, and he stayed for like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't believe that he did that. A part of me thinks is that he's lying in bed and trying to go to sleep because he has his panel in the morning, and he's like, I'm not going to be able to sleep.
What if they hate me?
I think he's so freaking nervous, and he's like, you know what I want to do? If, like, I can't sleep anyway, might as well make these people super happy. Yep. And he went through thousands of people that were in that line and signed people's badges and talked to them and took a picture. I'm like, what a cool dude, man.
Right? What a, like, going above and beyond.
And the panel was great, and to no surprise, Daisy, John, well, we knew Mark was gonna be there, and Kelly Marie Tran, who I'm so excited about. Our podcast about talking about the trailer and the poster in depth will be later this week.
Yes,
but
the biggest surprise, Josh Gad.
Josh Gad, my best friend, Josh Gad,
our best friend.
If he listens to the podcast, thanks Josh Gad for listening in. No, I have such a weird relationship with Josh Gad right now. But not, like, actually, just because the one time he reposted my artwork, and I'm like, we're best friends now.
And he's then my best friend by relation, because duh.
That's how it works, the transitive property.
Yes.
And so he came up on stage, and a little part of me is like, I know him! And I'm like, I don't know him.
He shared my artwork once!
It was really fun for me. And I loved that they asked him to host that panel.
Oh, I love it.
Such a perfect decision to do that. And
so cute. I love Josh Gad.
Absolutely so cute. And they, like, asked, there's so many things I loved about that panel. The first one was when Josh Gad starts doing his thing where he's like, so Daisy, who's Rey related to? Is her last name Skywalker? And the room's dead silent. And Daisy's like, just kind of like avoiding the answer. And then she's like, Rey Kenobi, and the whole room just, yes!
Popular answer.
Yep. And again, both you and I are people who don't really believe the Kenobi theory. We just love it.
We just want it, but
so
we're like,
badly.
we want it so bad, and that's why we tell ourselves it won't happen, because we want it too bad.
Too badly. And she's like, oh, that's a popular answer. And I loved that we were in a room of people who probably are super up to date in all the Star Wars news.
Uh-huh.
So they've probably come to terms by now that Rey is not a Skywalker.
Yes.
Like, they've read enough that they know Rey, or that they've come to terms with being like, well, this doesn't make sense for the story for her to be Luke's daughter.
At all.
Does not make sense. And
I know Luke, and Luke wouldn't do that.
I know Luke, just like I know Josh Gad.
Yep, and he wouldn't do that.
And there's, and Kelly Marie Tran, I think, is going to be a great addition
Oh, yeah.
to the cast. She looks so cute. Very clear to me that she's going to be Finn's love interest.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, her walking around with just, like, a John Boyega shirt in it's his face in a heart all the time, and you're like, are you allowed to do that?
Honestly, I think they're telling her to do it.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's for some people, we've had 2 years to grow, super attached to these specific characters.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time letting new characters in.
Yeah, I think a little bit.
But, so I think they're slowly but surely, I want to talk about, they kind of, because they brought up Storm Pilot.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one ship they brought up.
Which I'm upset that they brought it up just to immediately be like, and then here is Kelly Mary Tran. And I'm like, guys, okay, I'm never expecting you to have Storm Pilot be canon, but don't, literally take my face and then rub it in the dirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of, it's a little gay baiting where...
It is, and that's a problem.
It is a problem. And I still have my, Storm Pilot love, and there's still been a lot of rumors. Again, these are all rumors, so I don't want sort of spoiler alert, maybe, but they're just rumors, and it's just kind of rumors placing Kelly Marie Tran in Lando's position, that Kelly Marie Tran will, her character, Rose, she has a name, I can call her Rose now, will betray them in the end. And also, just a shout out to the non-stop Beauty and the Beast references that these movies have.
Yep.
You're gonna name your character Rose?
You're gonna name your character Rose?
Dear Lord.
You're gonna have Josh Gad host the panel?
Yeah, I didn't think of that one, and it just stopped. No. But I don't want Rose to be a traitor in the end.
No, because I don't want these movies to perfectly line up with the original trilogy.
Because I was trying to think of what way I maybe find it potentially interesting if she honestly went to the First Order because she honestly thought they were the right side. If she starts to think that the Resistance isn't the right side,
maybe
it might be interesting to see a character.
She does a Barriss kind of.
Yeah, kind of do a Barriss thing. I don't think that will happen.
I really hope
she
not.
might be a First Order spy the whole time, but again, I don't know. These are just rumors placing Rose in Lando's role. And so I kind of hope she just stays I
hope she's her own role.
Yeah. Where we have, it's pretty clear that the movie will have 2 sides. Mm-hmm. One's going to be the actual politics, the war, yes, which will be Finn, Poe, and Rose. Mm-hmm. And the other one will be the Force, the spiritual stuff, which will be Rey, Kylo, and Luke. Uh-huh. And so you'll kind of have these 2 different stories that will probably come together either in the last movie or the end of this one.
Yeah. I think probably not even till the next one. I kind of feel like it's going to be pretty separate.
I think this one's going to be pretty separate, honestly. But, again, these are all things to talk about tomorrow. This is just the fun panel stuff.
Yes.
But, interesting things about just the aftermath of the panel. They had some interviews that I watched, and one where Kathleen Kennedy said something about Leia not appearing in 9.
But did she say that, or was that just an article somewhere?
I watched the video where she says it, and it could be misconstrued somewhere. I'm hoping she's just saying that she thinks, Carrie's brother thinks that Carrie filmed for 9, and Kathleen Kennedy was like, no, she didn't she's not gonna, like... Because I think it's still very possible for them to use old footage and just keep Leia present. That's all I want.
Yeah, no, I feel like she definitely has to have a presence.
And killing her off screen is...
awful.
Is awful. And I think what everybody wants, for the most part, is for Leia to be able to live on through these stories. And even her family, her brother and her daughter were all like...
Carrie's been a part of this for...
She is Princess Leia.
Yeah.
So you have her live on through this character.
Yeah.
Like, you continue telling Carrie's story through Leia.
Yes.
And so I hope they change their mind on that. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
I'm not asking for you to give me, like, a CG Leia.
No.
I'm not.
I'm just asking for you to keep her present.
Yes.
That's what I want. And then some interesting things. Daisy and John, not John. Who's the other one? Mark. Daisy and Mark had an interview, which, again, we'll talk about more during our actual breakdown podcast, but I just thought it was interesting, where the interviewer is asking her questions, like asking them, so in the trailer, Luke, are you talking in the trailer? And he's like, yeah, I'm talking in the trailer. It's like, but you're talking to Daisy. And they look at each other and they're like, it's edited to sound that way, or something along those lines. Where you think that the lines are kind of taken out of context. I mean, who knows? These might be totally original lines specifically for the teaser that aren't even in the movie.
Yep.
But we'll see. But one last thing about the Last Jedi panel. One of my favorite moments was everyone thinks they're about to see the trailer, but it's just the poster.
Yeah.
So it's everyone's, oh. But it turns out, like, the poster was the coolest effing thing.
Yeah, I do like
And walking out of that that panel, everyone was like, the teaser was also super awesome.
Yes.
But we were really, like, potentially more excited about this poster, and we actually got to get one.
Yeah. Jealous.
And then, because that night, Friday night, we went to Galactic Night to Disney World, which we'll have another we'll just skip over it, but we cosplayed that day. My boyfriend cosplayed Obi-Wan.
So Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme.
And everyone called me Leia.
Because you had buns on your head, even though you clearly weren't Leia.
I mean, it's fine. I love Leia. But I'm like, I'm her mother!
I'm her mother! She's supposed to look like me! I'm wearing a kind of belly shirt? When have you ever seen Leia in a belly shirt?
Well,
never. No.
Slave Leia.
No, that's a metal bikini. That's not a belly shirt.
But we got our pins. I'm a big pin trader, so I wanted to get those pins. Super shout out to the amazing girl who was able to get me the pop figure, the Rey pop figure, and the Kylo pin. You could only get the pop figures and the Kylo pin if you had won the raffle. And
fucking raffles. I could do a whole podcast on how much I hate these fucking raffles.
It's so hard because they're trying to come up with a system that's fair,
but it's not fair.
But
because people
and they're
do
trying to cut down on
system.
lines,
No.
and like it's such a tricky system at cons these days, especially with collector culture as strong as it is. And I think they only made like 1,000 of each pin. They were only giving out 250 of a lot of the pins each day. Like I know Finn was 250 each day. Like you only made 1,000? There's so many flipping people here.
I've been to anime conventions with more people than 1,000, and those are considered very small.
And like the pins I wanted to walk out of there with 100% were the girls, the girl set.
Hera,
Kylo,
Ahsoka.
and Hera, and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And I did get all of them. The only one that I didn't get
wanted Thrawn, but
Thrawn. Thrawn was impossible, though.
Thrawn is impossible to get, and I'll never get him. And I'm like, awesome, cool, great, cool, awesome, cool.
He was impossible. And we also gave out our pins.
Oh, yeah, we did. We gave out little pins.
Little swag.
Well, your pins, I should say.
I keep calling them ours. I always say it's talking like the store too. It's our store. I'm like, and you're just like, I don't do anything.
I'm like, you package things.
You
and
package
make
things
them?
Sometimes for the store.
Yep.
And
I carried some of the pins,
and that was super fun. We didn't get to meet as nearly. Like I felt really bad because I was not on any social media.
I thought I was
weekend.
gonna, but I was just so, one, I was so tired, and two, the con was just so busy. We were always doing so much stuff that I just, like, never, I didn't take very many pictures. I didn't, like, I was just busy.
Because I
my hands
tried
were
to
full.
vlog, and you'll see my attempted vlog over on my personal channel. I'll link it down below, but listen to this first. I avoided Tumblr specifically because I didn't want to see the discourse.
Oh my god.
Scargate,
so funny.
it's so funny.
We'll go into that.
Yeah, well, that'll be all later. But I didn't want to see any, like, discourse that was gonna, like, bum me out, which I'm glad I avoided. There actually wasn't, I didn't see anything that bad later. It was mostly people just being like, the scar! And so I missed a bunch of messages from people asking where I was, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. I wasn't checking Tumblr at all.
It's also hard to check that stuff when you're, like, at a convention because you don't have your computer with you, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, you have your
And
tablet,
I didn't bring my computer to the con. I only brought my iPad. Or, like, to Florida, I only brought my iPad. And it was so hectic. But we got to give away a bunch of them.
Bunch pins.
And apparently a lot, like, swag trading is a thing. I didn't know this. So I made these pins having no idea that this was a thing.
Thinking you'd be so cool and unique.
I did. I wasn't. And so every time I would give my pins to someone, they would give me, like, theirs back. I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing!
Yeah, right.
Which was such a, like, pleasant surprise. And very fun. Stores were all pretty good.
I mean, yeah. Fine.
Got a lot of... Spent too much money.
Yeah.
And then, like, what else did we do Saturday? It was mostly just lines. We got the Hera pin.
Oh my god. So, for Hera pin...
Raffle. Again.
I could go about this forever, but... First, we stood in line to get into the thing. Second, then we stood in line to get the tickets. Then we had to wait around for the raffle ticket to get called, which we knew we didn't have the right color, because we knew it was yellow, but there's nothing you can do.
No, and so with the...
This is
with
Gentle Giant.
You all got a raffle ticket, like, and it was different color, and they would call a specific color, and they would sort of let you get more than one ticket.
Yes.
And so we kept going in, and we both had, like, 2 reds and 2 blues or 2 greens.
Well, we had green and red, yeah.
Green and red, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And we could see that every now and then one person would get a yellow, and we're like, that's the ticket that we want, and we obviously did not get a yellow.
So for the first hour, they only let people who won the lottery get served. And they're like, if there's anything left over, then we open up to the public afterwards. And so many people are in line just for the pin. So many people.
Yep.
And I'm just sitting there, again, like, near tears, because people are going up to other people in line being like, I'll give you $50 if you buy me this pin. And they're like, well, the pin's mine. I'm getting the pin. I'm only getting the pin. If you want something else, I'll get it for you. But I'm only going to get the pin. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here like, I'm not going to get this pin! And then slowly but surely, the rest of us who are waiting around for the hour start to form a line. And we're Star Wars people. We've been dealing with lines all week.
Yeah, it's been
we're being courteous to each other, and, like, we're respecting each other, and we're forming a line because it's the only way that we know how to do this without it getting ugly.
It's just hard, like, because there's so many people there. It's so... I wish there was an easy solution to it, and you think about it, and you're like, well, they could just do this, but... Everything is unfair for someone or something. And...
Which is true.
It's just so hard to think of a
but literally
good way to go about it. See how they deal with it in the future. But luckily, they did address some of the issues later.
For example, like with Gentle Giant having their limited edition pin, and Sphero also had their limited edition pin. With Sphero, you just walked up and you were like, can I have Finn, please? Boom, you got it. Gentle Giant doing this giant raffle system that is unfair for people.
It was because it was very easy to get Finn.
Yes.
It was, you just walked up and got Finn. But for they created this hype system with Hera, and I feel like creating this hype system because more people know who Finn is than Hera.
Yeah.
So I don't think it has anything to do with a character in particular. I think it had to do with
them creating a hype that they then were like, well, you can't line up here.
Mm-hmm.
You created this hype. You caused this on yourself. I'm here because Hera's my favorite character, but you made it so that these people who are big collectors and want to, like, flip it online later, you created that. I was listening to people in line being like, yeah, I already got 2 of them yesterday, and now I'm standing in line because Hera's going for, like, $80 online.
She was going for a lot online.
And I'm like, I hate you. If I could punch you right now, I would. Luckily, we got it.
We got pins, and the funny part is,
God.
So on Sunday, my boyfriend and I woke up super early. We got wristbands to go to the Mark Hamill panel and to closing ceremonies. And so we went to the dealer's hall, and I went back to the show store. I was like, first thing, run back to the show store, get in
some
line,
stuff.
Get some last-minute stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I bought another set of the girls because I'm like, if anything happens to my Ray pin, I'll be so upset.
Right.
Because that Ray pin was so cute.
She was very cute.
And I'm like, Matt, just go to Gentle Giant, get a raffle ticket just in case. So me and you, between the two of us, had like 10 raffle tickets on Saturday.
And we never got the right one.
We didn't get the right one. My boyfriend got one raffle ticket, and I'm like, what color did you get? And he's like, white? And I go, I've never seen a white.
Mm-hmm.
Like a white
ticket. That's gonna be the one.
That's gonna be the one. And sure enough, he got it. So he got the
hairpin.
The hairpin.
Which again.
But again, everyone in line was like asking him to be like, can you get me the pin? And he's like, that's literally the only thing that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Which I'm a little part of me is surprised that more people weren't wanting the Han figure or.
It's because he looks like Hercules.
He does look like Hercules. But you think that would be such like a big collector's item. I personally didn't like it that much, but
I think it was too much of a subculture thing. Maybe. Like even like within the Star Wars community, it's like it's a subculture.
Yeah,
it's like who remembers this concept art of Han? Not many. That looks just like Hercules from Marvel Comics.
Not very many people, but on Sunday, so I got the pin. You went to Universal.
On Sunday I did go to Universal Studios.
So you got a VIP tour.
VIP because it was a friend's birthday, so we got the VIP tour. So we were able to cut all the lines, and which was fun for me because I've never even been to Florida, the state, before. So I obviously have not been to Disney World or Universal Studios in Florida. And as somebody who works near Universal Studios in California, and then I go to Universal Studios in Florida, I'm like, oh my god, this is an actual theme park. Well, in California, it's like...
I hate Universal here. I want to like it, but it's nothing.
What, like, even our VIP tour said, like, she was like, in California, you guys are studios with a little bit of a theme park. In here, we're a theme park and we have, like, a studio.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
It's very, very true.
But
they just have so much room.
Like,
they're not built on a hill.
I mean, that's the whole reason Disney World exists, because there wasn't enough room in California.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? Who has a lot of room?
Florida.
So I stayed at the con. I did have the opportunity to go to Universal as well, but I decided to stay at the con, which we went to the Mark Hamill panel, and he was poor thing was losing his voice.
Aww.
Twins.
He infected you.
He did. I got sick by Mark Hamill. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, on Saturday, I also got to meet Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I forgot.
Yep.
So...
I got to meet Freddie Prinze Jr., and I was like... And his line was so long, because the Rebels panel was there, was that night, so everyone was, like, super hyped, and I was just like, I know we're at Star Wars, and I really like Kanan, but thank you for the Iron Bowl. And he was like, oh, you're welcome. The Iron Bowl loves praise. And I was like, Freddie Prinze Jr., you're very tired. All the guests, they worked them like dogs, and I'm very sad about that.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, controversy with the autograph lines.
Yeah.
Just in how they were run, because they were run by two different companies, and they were kind of doing things poorly. And so I felt poorly for the guests.
And I'm like,
and I hope everyone...
Please come back. Please come back.
Like, I really hope that none of the guests were completely deterred from coming back again, because I'd love to see them all again when we have Celebration in 2019. So fingers crossed for that. I'm like, I can't even remember. I think Saturday we just shopped. I can't think of anything else.
do think we did.
I didn't do any panels on Saturday.
We cosplayed.
Yep.
You were in Luke.
Oh, I was in Luke. Yep.
Luke. Victoria was in Leia. I was in Obi-Wan. No, we just shopped. And...
Shopped till we dropped.
Because you were getting sick. Weren't you?
It was more Sunday morning where I actually got sick.
But
I did art drops.
You started not to feel good.
Yeah.
Saturday night, though.
Yeah.
Because that's when you left the restaurant.
No, that was Sunday.
Was it Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay.
Because that was after you came back from
Oh, that's
Universal.
right. Okay.
But, yeah, Sunday for me, I went to the Mark Hamill panel. That was fun. Mark Hamill panel is also very fun to say.
Mark Hamill panel.
I got to see, one of my highlights of the con, I only got to see them for a few seconds, is I saw Kirsty from Scavenger's Horde.
Yep.
And Holocroning, who is another friend from the internet. I only got to see them for, 3 minutes because they had to go back to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, talking to them to Twitter and, about pin trading, and they're like, we're trying to find you, but the panel ran long because I said I would be somewhere at, 2 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And they had to go. And so I'm, running, and I got to see them for, 5 minutes. And that was, so great.
Uh-huh.
And my favorite thing, because I just asked, I'm like, have you guys been on the internet? Has there been any,
anything.
any discourse at all? Because I was avoiding it because I wanted to, stay on this cloud 9 that I was on. I was having the best time. And Kirsty was just like, well, they're just talking about the scar. The scar gate's a big thing. And now it's not this huge, hideous thing. And then all three of us just look at each other and, we know why it's not this huge, hideous thing. People are complaining about it. Sure, a little part of me was like, I want this big scar on his face. But all three of us looked at each other and were like, we know why it's not. We know. Mm-hmm. And our smug walk away. But that was I'm so glad I got to see them, even if it was only for 5 minutes. And we went to closing. And we were told we were in the streaming room for closing, which was fine. So we go in and sit down. And we were in by far the best room for closing, in my opinion. Our host, each closing room had a different host, and they tossed off to different hosts.
Uh-huh.
But we had Warwick Davis. And, because fun fact about me, I'm the most oblivious person you'll ever meet.
Especially with the faces or people.
Yeah,
you are.
I'm really bad about it. So we're walking into the panel, and our friend Chris is taking us to the seats. And we walk in and sit down, and Chris goes, oh my god, I should have said something to Warwick when we saw him. And I'm like, what? And he's like, Warwick Davis, he was at the door when we walked in. And we had walked in a little bit later. The panel hadn't started yet, but there was no one else there. It was just us and Warwick Davis on a Segway. It was Warwick Davis on a Segway, and I did not notice it.
To be fair, it was Sunday. You were sick.
I was sick.
To be fair.
And I'm like, I had the opportunity to... I was 2 feet away from him. And I didn't notice
all you would have been able to do was go,
Warwick.
You were like, oh my god, this person's dying. Get them away from me.
And a little part of me was still hoping they would announce the location of 2019.
Yep.
Or the Penelope movie at closing, which we didn't get. But it was a nice closing ceremony. And then we went home. And
we didn't go home.
Well, home to the hotel room.
Yeah, here you go.
Waited for you, got dinner, and then I threw up.
Yep. That was our Star Wars celebration.
Yep.
Because everything afterwards was just Disney.
Yeah, you stayed at the parks for a day. I was there for the week. Attempted to go to the marathon. I had signed up for it, and woke up that morning. We had to wake up at 3 a.m. to go to this marathon. And I woke up, threw up twice, and my boyfriend was just like, we're not doing this. You cannot breathe. And again, I'm not throwing up because I'm nauseous. I'm throwing up because I can't breathe.
Right.
That's my body's response to being like, you can't get enough air, so we're going to make you throw up so you're at least exhaling.
Yeah. So we're going to clear the airway.
Yeah. And, I mean, TMI maybe, but...
Hey, man, everybody throws up once.
Everybody throws up, besides Ted Mosby. I mean, he threw up once, and that was the joke in the show.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
our friend Ashley, too.
Oh, yeah.
Convinced that she'll never throw up, and I was like, what about that one time? That doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Okay.
Didn't throw up then. But Celebration was, absolutely fantastic. There's even a part of me that is I never want to go to Celebration again, because this con worked out so well for me.
I walked by Dave Filoni Sunday morning with my my tote bag that's just Hera and Kanan kissing, and was like, oh, I really hope he saw it. They're not she's not smooching him. She's kissing his scar.
Yeah.
And he's looking all happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dave, please tell me you saw my tote bag as I was walking
put
by.
it in the show.
It's already finished for the season, but this makes me want to make them kiss more.
Yep. But it was, just a absolutely fantastic weekend. And, I can't wait to talk to you, talk more in depth
I can't wait to go in depth
else,
about things.
Which, it's, and just everything people are so smart with what they're, like, figuring out and seeing on these posters and the trailers. And
So
I can't wait to
excited.
talk about all of it this week. And, again, the other announcements, like Battlefront and Force of Destiny and the Rebels Season 4, we'll all talk about in a separate podcast.
Yes.
But that was just our fun story of what our weekend was like. And I'm
Yes.
sure I'm forgetting so much.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, it'll come up literally every podcast this week is about Celebration. So hopefully...
Well, remember everything throughout
Yeah.
the 5 podcasts.
I was doing, like, notes yesterday. I'm like, all right, remember to tell these things. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Who Talks First. And
Yep.
this one was an hour alone. And this is just us talking about nothing.
Well, I mean, we covered like 4 days worth of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not any actual, like, news.
No.
Just story times.
Nope.
But tune in on iTunes. Please give us a rating or a comment. That really helps us out. If you
Yes,
are
please.
there, or if you're on listening to us on YouTube, maybe subscribe. Check out. We reached 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, so
Woo!
woohoo, and all that stuff. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.